see us. I'm gonna get some food.
But I have minutes.
Alright, so I'll tell you this thing. Right. Transfer that over. Yeah, cool. Alright. So, this session's going to be not quite it's not downtime as such, but it's more your first week within the city of Middenheim and sort of coming to grips with having to register for guilds if you have to register for guilds, having to work out what you are able to do for work in the city, because it's a new city for all of you, except for Lucian, who's been here for a while now.
Like one.
But also, like, for people like Lucian, who are the people that you actually know within the city? Where do you go for work every day? So, the way I want to run it is kind of not episodic. It's probably not quite the word I want to use, but sort of like each one of you will have your own little moment where you go off to go and do your thing, like register for your guild, or I don't know, for Alex's character, he has to go and like present himself at the High Temple of Sigmar and be told what he can and can't do by the High Priest there. All that sort of stuff. I know that in the previous session we set up that Heike has a patrol to do with the City Watch.
Trial thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was in a week's time, so yours will probably be the last thing we get to. So,
No problem.
just heads up so that if you do want to go and grab a bite to eat or grab a drink, it is not an issue until we get to your part, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's right, I'll hang about.
Cool. And
that way I know what's going on,
yeah,
and I'm not like, what? What's this? What's this?
And that goes for all of you as well. Like, once we've done your part, or once we've moved on, or waiting for your part, if you want to just hang around or go and do your own thing, that's entirely up to you. That's fine.
Cool. I want to hear the things.
You want to hear the things? That's fine. Okay. Yeah. So let me just get my notes up, and I guess we'll go in the order that I have them written down, just to save my own sanity. So, the first person we will be sort of exploring is Wolfgang.
All right.
So it is, I suppose the same afternoon that you have returned after successfully delivering some live beastmen to the city. And now you need to go and visit the High Temple of Sigmar and meet with the High Priest there.
That's it.
So the Temple of Sigmar is... Christ, where is it again? I think it's in the Freiburg district.
It's over sort of here-ish, I think.
Yes, it is.
It's somewhere in that area.
Yeah, it's actually quite near to where
that's where we've just dropped the feast off, right?
46? Yes, yeah, at 46. So it's actually at
like
26.
26 to
yeah.
28 or 29.
Yeah, 26 is the High Temple, and that's actually quite near to the Grand Guild of Wizards.
Yes, cool.
So you head off in that direction, and you are admitted into the High Temple. So if I get my notes up on the High Temple, and this guy as well. High Temple of Sigmar. Alright. So as you approach it, you are greeted by an impressive and somewhat forbidding stone temple, boasting many remarkable gargoyles on the outside. It is not that busy. There is only a small trickle of people coming in and out of the temple itself. As you sort of mount the stairs and head in, you see your very stereotypical Sigmarite temple. Lots of depictions of the God Emperor himself. Oops, did I say that? My apologies. Doing various things, smiting beastmen, greenskins and the like. Meeting with dwarves, all that sort of wonderful stuff. There's a small congregation of people at the front who are having a service with a priest, and a young brother approaches you and says, afternoon, brother.
Well met.
I see you are a travelling priest. Are you here to speak with the High Capitular?
I am indeed. And I will make the sign of the twin toe coming at him.
Lovely. He returns
My
it.
fist to my heart and the two.
2 fingers.
The,
Beautiful. Yep.
The 2 fingers up.
Flashing
each
gang
side and
signs.
The fist to the heart. Yep. Throwing my gang signs up at him. He was most helpful when I came to try and enter the city, and the foolish guards folk tried to take my weaponry off me. And I asked them if they would take the wolf belt off a priest of Alrik. And removing my warhammer is the same thing. I'm sure you would understand, brother.
Indeed, you're not wrong there, brother. Right, well, if you'll come with me, I'll lead you to his office. And he leads you down the nave and off to a side room where he knocks on a door, waits for an answer, and then you're admitted into a rather Spartan office.
Mhm.
And seated behind the table is Werner Stoltz, the High Priest of Sigmar for Middenheim.
Excellent.
He gets up and makes the sign of the Twin Tail Comet to you.
Again, the same.
And he says, what was your surname again? It was
Vigmar.
Vigmar.
Wolfgang Vigmar. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
W.
And I technically, when I was reading about the blessings and stuff, because I can do blessings, I would be. It's not inappropriate to be called Wolfgang Vigmar the Blessed or the Blessed, because my blessings work.
Yes.
Apparently, that's an unusual thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a noteworthy thing. So I'm going to say that just to be, super extra.
Yeah. Why not? I am High Priest Stoltz. Brother Vigmar, I believe.
Well met.
Indeed. It is always wonderful to see a travelling priest such as yourself. And how do you find Middenheim so far?
Set in their ways. Somewhat upsettingly so, though. Our own lord was a follower of the cult of Ulrich.
Indeed.
Before Ulrich placed him, awarded him his own godhead. So as a travelling priest, I come from Middenland. I see it as my duty to carry out holy pilgrimages to important sites and to minister to the flock of Sigmar's folk.
Praise be, brother. Praise be indeed. And certainly there are no more significant sites than here in Middenheim, where the home of the Eternal Flame and the place where Sigmar himself was crowned the King of the Teutogans.
Indeed. By being a proud Middenlander, I have Teutogan blood in my veins, as I'm sure you do.
Indeed. Well, come, I shall show you around the temple, and I shall inform you of what work there is to be done. As you can imagine,
Please.
with a city of this size and the, let's say, reluctance of the locals, there is much work that is required.
Of course, brother.
And so he...
Show me where I may minister my faith and how I may help the people of this city.
So he leads you back out into the sort of the main area of the temple.
Yep.
And he says, so we will award you a time which you may perform your own sermons and lead your own masses if you so wish. As a travelling priest, you probably have given plenty of different sermons that wouldn't have been heard in Middenheim before. So should you wish, we can arrange a time for you to have either a regular or once in a blue moon.
Whichever you feel to be most suitable to the people here.
Excellent. I shall leave that with Brother Micah here to organise a specific time, and he sort of gestures to the priest who escorted you in the first place.
Mm-hmm. What was his name, sorry?
Brother Micah.
Micah.
Yeah. M-I-C-A-H.
Yep, I thought so.
Mm.
Is he on the list of characters in the thing?
He is not, no.
I assumed not. I thought that Werner is. I saw that, but
Yes.
this guy's not. So I thought, Brother Micah. And how is Brother Micah? Is he more of like a monk-like priest, or is he also a warrior priest?
No,
or
he is more of a priest in the traditional sense.
Mm-hmm.
But all Sigmarite priests are maybe not warlike, but certainly solid.
Oh, of course, but as I said, there's the Order of the Anvil, which is a monastic.
Yes.
Um,
And so he then leads you out into the courtyard, where you find a number of warrior priests in training, novitiates, being trained by a couple of senior warrior priests.
hmm
And you sort of stand and watch for a moment, and Stoltz says, of course, if you would be willing, we would love for you to take a few classes training up the novitiates as well.
I'm sure I would have much to learn from them too, but I would be honoured.
This here is our brothers Theodosius and brother Gerhard. And he points. This is
They're
the
the trainees.
the
or
two trainers.
Trainers.
Yeah. So brother Theodosius is wielding a warhammer, and brother Gerhard has got a spear.
Yep.
And they both nod to you respectfully and make the sign of the twin-tailed comet to you.
Indeed. Yep. I make the sign of the hammer.
Lovely.
As well.
And he
need to watch wisely, and that we're all warriors and priests and servants of Sigma.
yes. And then he leads you through into a small outbuilding that is at the rear of the courtyard. And in there you find another Sigmarite priest who has got a group of students who are all sitting at various desks, and he is teaching them their letters.
Huh?
And he says, and here we have the grammar school, where we train those of the Sigmarite faith in theology, as well as basic literacy, numeracy. If you are inclined, we would certainly love for you to take classes here as well. As a traveling,
I'm sure I can offer some assistance.
as a traveling priest of our faith, you would certainly have more experience with the geography of the empire than some of our local priests.
Well, certainly, I've yet to travel far beyond Middenland, but I have travelled across its broadness and through the mountains and forests.
You would have experienced much outside of the city walls, which Brother Rickard here, he gestures to the priest who is taking the class, has not, unfortunately, being a Middenheimer born and bred.
Ah.
And so he
Well met, and again,
pauses in his
signs.
he pauses in his class to sort of nod to you and make the sign of the twin-tailed comet yet again.
Indeed, of course.
And Stoltz then leads you back to his office, and he gestures to a chair in front of his desk.
Yeah. As a brief aside, I
Mhm.
thought it would be kind of interesting / amusing / if I actually haven't travelled that much.
Yeah.
Like, I've been brought into the mountains, and I've done my stuff in the mountains a bit and learned my stuff there. I haven't fully written out the backstory. I don't want to write too much.
Yeah.
Because I'm still youngish.
Yes.
And then this is kind of step one on my pilgrimage.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I think he's a bit self-conscious about that, and
Yeah.
because people think so. I might try and bullshit some things.
Yeah. Perfect.
Which
I love
might
it.
get me caught out, which is fine. But that was sort of what I thought would be an amusing
Yeah.
twist.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
So, he sits down behind his desk, and as I say, he's gestured to the chair in front of his desk, and he says, "I actually have a special task for you as well. If you how long do you plan on staying here in Middenheim?"
Well, I hadn't given it too much thought. I had hoped to meet with some of the other, some of the priests of Alrik also, and have some debate with them, and also to learn some of their histories and stories. As I said on meeting you, that our own God, followed their faith, and so I think understanding that faith will deepen my own. And then I have recently made the acquaintance of a party of folk who I feel need my direct assistance in some of their actions. They have many Sigmarite followers among them, and one indeed is one of the makers, the honest of the dwarf
indeed.
folk, and so I would wish to aid them as best I could, as the tenets of our faith would have. And so I believe that they intend to be based out of the city for some time. Could be months or years, I'm not sure.
I see. Well, in regards to wanting to speak with someone of the Ulrican faith, might I recommend Brother Bengt? He is...
B-E-N-K-T?
B-E-N-G-T.
B-E-N-G-T.
Oh, thanks.
Bengt.
Yep.
He is a much more learned member of the Ulrican faith, and provided you have got plenty of free time, he's always willing for conversation and interesting stories.
Indeed, that is what I would wish to gain from him.
Well, you'll be able to find him at the temple of the High Temple of Alrik, but I should warn you,
Of course.
and this does, as the High Temple of as the High Priest of our faith here in Middenheim, I feel it feels wrong of me to even suggest it, but I would recommend when visiting the Temple of Alrik that you try to obfuscate your Sigmarite leanings.
Really?
Yes, things are not quite as pleasant between the two faiths at the moment in the city as they have been in the past.
That is troubling to hear.
Yes.
My ministrations must have arrived at a just time. I feel I have been called here appropriately.
Indeed, it would seem that way. We are having, there are certain zealots of the Ulrican faith who have taken to see Sigmar as a usurper to Ulric's place in the Pantheon. And whilst there have been no obvious threats to the safety of our flock or ourselves, there have been harsh words exchanged, the occasional minor defacing, nothing that can't be cleaned off with grit and determination. But
It's troubling.
Brother Bengt is certainly more open-minded than some of his more zealot brothers, so speaking with him will certainly be of benefit to you in your quest for get greater knowledge. But
Of course, well, I value your advice.
yes, certainly, yes, be wary whilst there. But yes, I do have another task for you, which is ultimately, as I said, dependent on how long you are within the city walls. In regards to the distance between our two faiths, Sigmar's and Ulric's, there has also been a distance between the Sigmarite faith, and most especially myself, and Graf Boris Todbringer.
Ah.
I have not had the chance to speak with the Graf since the installation of the newest Ulrik, some 6 months hence, and every time I have made a petition to go and speak with him on matters of faith and his own faith and matters concerning the faithful within the city, my requests have been rebuffed. Politely, but rebuffed nonetheless. So, what I have...
Most concerning to hear.
It is. I'm concerned that the faith, the Emperor's own faith, is being ostracized from what is one of the most powerful seats within the Empire itself.
Of course.
And whilst there is respect between myself and the Alrik as the two heads of our faith, the Graf should certainly have perspectives from multiple members of the cloth, not just one religion.
Of course.
And my concern is that these more fanatical aspects of the Ulrican faith might be bending the ear of the Ulric more than they have any right to do so.
To shun you as a high priest of the patron of the empire, and yet to hold a leadership position as Graf of the high seat of the empire, seems very wrong to me. Well, and what would your orders be in this?
What I would like for you to do is to, by whatever means you deem appropriate, try and gain access to the court and find out, if possible, why the Sigmarite faith is being shunned by the nobility of the city.
I will do this.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that this is a hard task, but Sigmar demands a high price of his followers.
He demands much of his followers, and I will give all that I can.
Thank you, brother. And he stands up and once again gives you the symbol of the Twin Tail Comet.
Let's Let's just assume that they're just flying thick.
They're just flying everywhere, every 2 seconds.
They're like physical punctuation to every sentence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he gets up and he bows his head to you,
Yes.
and then he, in an unexpected twist, offers a hand.
I grasp the hand warmly.
He shakes it firmly and says, "It's a pleasure to have you."
And
in
then I
the
do
city, brother."
a little pat on the arm thing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
After he goes firm, so I go pat on the arm.
Yeah, nice. It's a pleasure to have you in the city, brother.
It's a pleasure to be here, brother, and thank you again for your assistance in being able to bring my righteous raiment inside.
May the Twin Tail Comet bless your day.
And the blessings of Sigmar upon you.
And
Would you permit me to pray for you, brother?
I would be honored, brother.
Please, then, and I again do the whole thing. Grab his hands, start full on, over the top yelling.
Yep.
Or not quite yelling, but very loudly. Recounting a tale of Sigmarite and what are the people in Midland called? The Teutoburgs,
Teutogans.
Teutogans, that's right. And so it was when Sigmar came to the people of the Teutogans that he must fight his way through each Graf and chief in their villages, fighting against their stubbornness and ignorance to show them the true way. And it was with his might and his wisdom and his strength and the assistance of the makers that he was able to prevail and crown himself as king and the leader. I'm literally just trying to find my praise skill. There we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Just you can continue to
Sorry.
waffle.
Etc. Waffle. Cool.
Nice.
That's fine. Yep. No, so obviously no effect. That's fine.
That's
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
And at the end of your ministration, Stoltz stands up and once again says, "I thank you, brother." And he escorts you to the door of his office, and then you are in the temple. Would you like to
Great.
take a moment to kneel before the altar and
I will.
bathe in Sigmar's glory?
I will, absolutely. I will bask in Sigmar's glory. I will offer some money.
Yes. Yep. Place a coin, whatever your
a silver penny.
lovely. You place it in the votive offering tray.
I do.
Um,
And again, cast the signs, kneel before them, take out my warhammer, anoint it with the oils,
All the things.
chant all the cants of litanies of hatred of greenskins and wisdom,
Yes.
etc. And then I'm actually going to try and just briefly find Brother Micah again.
Yes, sure.
And I wanted to just ask him if there might be rooms available in the temple for me to
Perfect.
stay in while I'm here.
So, you've set yourself up in a sort of a private nave to do your
Okay.
your what's the word I'm looking for? Your silent prayers,
Yes.
or private prayers, I should say. Not silent.
Yeah.
Certainly not silent.
No, not silent. Oh no.
And you.
I don't do really. They're not really loud either. But
No.
yeah.
So as you leave this sort of private side chapel, you spot Brother Micah by the door, sort of greeting another couple of members of the faith.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'll let him finish that.
Yep.
And then go over and speak to him.
so he welcomes them through and sends them on towards whatever purpose they have. I think they're dropping a child off for teaching at the grammar school.
Excellent. A wise choice. Brother Micah, I wish to just see if there was any way, if there are any rooms here that I might be able to stay in.
Of course, Brother Vigmar, sorry, my apologies. Come with me.
That is all right. Thank you.
And he leads you again out to the courtyard and then off down a sort of side passage to what appears to be a small sort of a barracks.
Yep.
There are no sort of soldiers here, but
Yeah.
it appears this is where the novitiates and warrior priests who are stationed here sleep.
Mhm.
He says,
Great.
I can offer you one of these here rooms. This barracks is mostly for the novitiates, but we do have private rooms for the warrior priests, such as yourself. I can show you to one of those if you would like.
Please, as a guest, I would be happy with a corner on the floor, wherever you will fit me. If there is a bunk, I will take it. That will do for me.
Most certainly. And he gestures down to the end of the row of beds, and you find a single unoccupied bed. The sheets
Great.
turned down just so.
Perfect. That'll do.
So, we will leave off with Wolfgang's story, and which will move over to Jehenna. Now, is Steph still with us?
Steph is still with us.
Steph is still with us. Huzzah!
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. So, it's been sort of, fade to black, come back, star wipe. It's been a couple of days since you returned from collecting beastmen, and you've been very quietly, surreptitiously trying to put feelers out, find out what's the go in a town like this. You discover that there's no water or large bodies of water bar the lake in the park that you're in, which mildly distresses you, but you're like, okay, it's fine. I've been in a city before. I can deal with this. And so you've been putting feelers out, trying to find out like who are the big players in town in the underworld. And so you're having a drink at a bar called the Man of War,
Nice.
which
Is
I,
it full of men in like leather harnesses
God, I hope
singing
so.
misogynistic power metal lyrics from the 80s?
no.
Oh.
Oh.
The Man of
Neutral power metal lyrics.
The Man of War, which you discovered your first evening here, is a nautical-themed bar. And it's run by a gentleman named Captain Johannes Musenblicker,
Jesus Christ.
who everyone refers to as Captain Jan.
Nice.
He is a retired sailor, if you hadn't guessed. The bar itself is made up of like planking from an old ship. There are paintings of ships and paintings of naval battles on the walls. There's a big ship's wheel up behind the bar. He's got a large parrot in a cage at one end of the bar who is named Feathers.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
Who will spit curses at anyone who gets too close. It's actually quite a fun place. You've, after discovering it and hitting it off with Captain Jan, you've spent most of your evenings here, just sort of drinking some of the ale that he has on hand. As soon as he found out that you were also a fellow sailor, you became an instant favourite of his.
Hell yeah.
He, on this particular evening, he's managed to pour out a small sample for you of a very rare rum that he's got specially imported from Marienburg called Wastelander Alt Giberonten. He only keeps this aside for other seafarers, so you're in good stock with this stuff.
I am favoured.
You are favoured. And so you've been sitting there, you've had a quiet meal, and you've been sort of nursing this strong rum when a rather genteel-looking man approaches you. And he says, you wouldn't happen to be Jehenna Driscoll?
Oh, I might. I might very well.
I understand you've been trying to find out about the undercurrents of the city, as it were.
Oh, well, I'm all about currents. I'm a sailor, you know. All of this in an Australian accent, which I'm not going to attempt.
No, that's
because
fine.
It will just be horrific.
That's fine. That's all good. Well, if you have got the time, if you could head to Fanliers, you could have a chat with Joseph, and he might be able to put you in contact with the right people.
Oh, thank you very much for the tip. Much appreciated.
And he sort of nods to you and heads on out. Fanliers is somewhere, I don't remember. It's in the Ostwald district, which you've been to before. Do you intend to finish your meal, finish your
Well,
fine
I'm
rum
gonna finish this rum with the respect it deserves.
Excellent.
Because you don't disrespect the rum.
No, you certainly don't. What's your toughness bonus, by the way?
Very good question. Let me check. It is. Is that just the little number?
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. So it's a 4.
4. Okay.
So it boosts my toughness.
You are fine.
Yay!
It's a strong rum, but you're not on the way to being drunk, so you're okay. So once you've finished your meal and your rum, you doff your cap to Captain Jan and you head on off in the direction of the Ostwald district and Fanliers.
Excellent.
We're not going to open that. We're not going to open that, apparently. Interesting. I'll have to go and find it. No. Where are you? I have so many goddamn character sheets. I'm losing track of them all. Oh, good. We're playing this game, aren't we? Or it's not going to open. So Fanliers is, as I said, located in the Ostwald district. It is number 17 on your map, right down here. Okay. Cool. That one. And
Who was it that you needed to talk to, Steph?
Oh jeez, I don't even remember now.
Joseph.
Joseph, that's right. Thank you.
And anyone else like my gaha?
That was very good. That was why I was laughing partway through it. It was funny. So
Go.
That was
Brother Guha.
yeah.
And now forever he will be Banjo.
Oh no.
With a spear.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The spear's got Kazooie's head on the tip.
Oh,
Nice.
jeez.
That's the point.
Alright, so you make your way to Fanlier's. It is tucked down a side alley, and it is a very small, sort of hole-in-the-wall type shop. You notice that the door has got multiple locks and bars over the window. And that there is a sign hanging over the door, but it is dark, so you can't quite see what the sign is showing.
Would I be able to smell it? No.
No. You wouldn't be able to smell much here other than open sewage.
I would prefer not to.
So you knock on the door, and you hear multiple deadbolts and chains unlocking and locking. You do the standard thing is several keys turning, all that sort of stuff. And a very scrawny man with very unkempt hair pokes his head out and says, "Are you Jehenna?"
Yes, I was told to come and have a chat to Joseph,
"Ah,
whose name I definitely remembered before."
I'm Joseph. Go on in." And he opens the door further and allows you in to, as you now enter, you see what appears to be some sort of pawn shop.
Oh, delightful.
It's just bric-a-brac and knickknacks and just a whole bunch of just random stuff. It's,
By labour's pawnbrokers, yes.
yes.
Get your head out of the fucking Middleheim.
So,
It's just a cum-laden tote bag hanging off the
Oh
rack.
god!
no,
It's the worst of both
All
worlds.
of it was gone.
And sentient butt plugs.
it's
Look, one man's
Oh.
trash, okay? One
It's-
man's trash, that's
it's
it.
never truly
One
gone.
man's trash is another man's cum-laden tote bag.
Oh no! Oh, it's
That's
been
my
derailed.
t-shirt. Oh,
Yikes.
Jesus.
So,
Shut
We
it
no longer
down.
stream.
yeah, shit.
Banned from
We're
Twitch.
banned from Twitch.
Banned from Twitch.
So, now that you're inside and it's not quite as dark, and Joseph's got a lantern, you can sort of see him a bit better. He appears to be in his late 50s. He's got a broad-brimmed hat on, which his hair is sort of sticking out from underneath. And he's got these cracked glasses, which are sort of perched very precariously on the bridge of his nose. And he says, Jehenna, right. Sobriquet Golden Nose, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Truly is.
You're from someplace in the Reichland, but you ran off to join the pirates out in Estalia at a young age.
I have been accused as such, yes.
And when they found out you weren't Estalian, they dumped you off at the nearest port and told you to be on your way.
Went down a little differently than that, but sure.
And
There,
you've
there may have been a question of things taken from the ship.
I see. And you've most recently vacated the city of Ubersreich thanks to a rather unsavory rumor that you're a mutant.
With great haste, yes.
Hmm.
And quite a rude rumour, to be honest.
Well, certainly to be at the receiving end of it, yes. Anyway, the reason I tell you all this is just to let you know that my employer is a most educated and well-informed man.
Oh
And,
yeah, he certainly seems to be.
he
I'm impressed.
he basically runs, I would say, probably the lower third of this town. And, well, he's a man of few words but strong intentions, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I think I get the general gist.
So, essentially, what he'd like from you, if you wish to acquire work in the city, work can be found for you, provided that you pay him his dues, of course.
Oh, well, I wouldn't expect there not to be some kind of tax for jobs done, services rendered.
Indeed. Well, if you are interested, I've got some people for you to meet, and I've got some work for you to be done.
Absolutely, I'd consider myself interested.
Marvellous. And so he leads you through into a back room. And in there, you are greeted by 4 muscly, thick-browed, strong-jawed men.
Nice.
And he gestures to the 4 of them in turn and says, "This here is Smiley, Cuddles, Gingo, and this one here is Bruiser."
Pleasure to meet you all.
They sort of
Delightful monikers.
give you a series of grunts and nods. Now, basically, in the Sutor district, we're running a bit of a protection racket, if you will. A few of the storeholders are in need of, well, let's say we need to keep an eye on them, just to make sure that they know what's good for them, if you catch my drift.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Guidance.
our employer, our mutual employer now, as it would be, has tasked me to find out, to find us some person who could take over running one of our rackets, as the previous head of this group met an unsavoury end off the cliff of size.
Ooh, that does sound particularly unsavoury.
Indeed. Now, I've been over your records, and it sounds to me like you're just the sort of person for the job. So, are you capable of helping to run this here racket?
I would say so.
Marvellous. Well, in that case, you lads, Jehenna's here is in charge of your lot now. You report to her, she reports to me, and I'll report to the boss. If you find anything of value that is being paid other than coin that needs to be shifted, you can bring it to me. I'm one of the best fencers in the city. I can see that it's sold off post haste.
So I'd be able to find you here?
Indeed. Indeed. Oh, another thing. And he sort of ducks around a corner and comes back with a package. Ooh, thank you.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. A tea delivery.
Yeah. He goes, I have tea.
I have tea here. No. He has this large sort of cloth wrapped package which he hands to you. This here is a gift to show the esteem of our employer. And
I shall delicately unwrap it.
you open it to find a mailed shirt, a boiled leather helmet, and
Oh,
the package itself that it's all sort of sitting in is actually a boiled leather shield.
Ah, cool. Awesome.
Just
I
to
thank
make
you for his very generous gift.
just to make sure that you don't, fall afoul of some of the other less than savoury characters that can trod the dodgy path, as it were.
Always a good idea.
Now, I've also been told, should you have need of it, I wouldn't expect so in the city grounds itself, but if you ever have to head out of town, that our employer has also arranged a horse for you.
Oh, very generous indeed.
It's currently being stabled at Stoller's Stables. Now, I have written down Stoller's Stables, but for the life of me, I cannot remember where it is on my map. Oh, it's actually right near the Man of War.
Oh, sick.
In Guildmund district, so it's right here. It's actually not too far away.
That's convenient.
That's great.
Alright, so there's a horse there stabled for you. Just speak to the stable hand let him know that you've been sent by Fanlia, and he'll know the horse for you.
I'll do so.
Now, work has its costs, as you would expect. As you rightly mentioned, there is a tax involved. So, the protection racket itself, obviously, is the vast majority of this does go to running the enterprise, as it were. You receive a commission on top of that as part of your income. However, if you do any other jobs in the city that aren't part of this this line of work, the boss requires a 10% cut.
Makes perfect sense.
He also requires of you once in a calendar year to work a job outside of the usual, just off the books. No questions asked.
Very fair. Anything else I should know?
I shouldn't think so.
Seems fairly self-explanatory.
Indeed it is. Alright, well, a pleasure, Jehenna, and he holds out a rather small hand to you.
Shall give him a firm but polite handshake.
Excellent. And he nods to the lads. They all nod and grunt at you in return. And he leads you back out of his store.
Nice. So, just to check, so I have mail shirt, boiled lemon, boiled level, no, thank you, autocorrect. Boiled leather helmet.
Yes.
And a boiled leather shield.
Yes. The shirt is a sleeved mail shirt, so it actually covers arms as well.
Sick. I will look up the stats for that.
Cool. So we
Thank
will
you.
cut across to Lucian.
Hello.
Hi. So, Lucian, hold up a second. Let me just do this.
I like this very what's that movie called, where it's like a whole lot of different perspectives.
That could be anything.
I know.
It's been done more than once, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, The Simpsons did that episode where it's like 39 short stories.
There's that
thing.
24
Yeah.
show or whatever it was.
See, it was
Or
making
that
me
a
think
movie?
of there's that episode of The Last Airbender where like
Yes.
it focuses on
That's right,
different
yeah.
stories.
Yes.
That's sort of the
That's
idea I had in my
exactly right.
mind.
Yeah. Exactly. It's very that kind of vibe, which is cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we have that, and then I need that. So it is the day after you have returned from collecting the Beastmen, and you have returned to the Guild Hall of the Apothecaries. It is a rather large, grand, half-timbered building, topped with tall chimneys. Interestingly, no birds sit on the roof due to the noxious smell and general sort of acidic nature of the smoke billowing out of the chimneys. Due to the fact that you make potions there and whatnot, potions and poisons, the building itself has kind of become stained over the years. So it has a sort of an off yellow look to it. And as you sort of approach, you see the guild banner hanging over the entrance, which is a midnight blue banner with 3 faded apothecary jars. And you enter the large sort of audience hall, and you can see multiple laboratories off in every direction and corridors. That's like 3 corridors heading sort of 1 dead ahead and then 2 off to the sides. And so you're just about to head off to your own shared workspace when the head alchemist, Ibn al-Azir, spots you and says, "Ah, Lucian, please, come with me. I have something to show you."
All right. We'll follow him.
And so you follow him up the flight of stairs to the sort of reception room, and then there is another sort of laboratory off the back of this, which you know is his own personal laboratory. And he leads you through, and to sort of paint a picture for you, Evan himself, he is from Araby, so think the Middle East.
Araby.
Yeah, I know, right? Warhammer is not great on the name sometimes. They weren't very subtle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait
What's his
until you
name
hear
again?
of Grand Cathay, which is
Yeah.
the China allegory.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's his name? It is.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll type it for you in the chat.
Is it Ibn al-Azir?
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
Originally from Araby.
that's the one.
Whew.
I know, right? It's not great, but it is what it is.
It gets the job done.
It gets the job done.
You know exactly what you're talking about.
So he is a rather small man, and he wears the garb of his homeland proudly. So he's got a midnight blue gown with a very high throat, with lots of embroidery, and he has lots of rings on his fingers, and he's got lots of rings in his ears with lots of various different gemstones and whatnot. He's quite a pale man.
Yingwei.
Sorry?
I said it's Yingwei. It's Yingwei.
And when you move up into his sort of private reception area, you see that there's a big bodyguard there, which you would know as one of the traditional eunuch guards of Araby. So big, muscular. Imagine an ogre, essentially.
Yes.
He's got an eye patch and a loincloth and a big two-handed scimitar on his back, and that's it.
Sensational.
Yeah. So you head through into his private workshop, and he says, "Lucian, I understand that you recently went out onto an expedition into the forest. Did you manage to get any of the ingredients that you were after?"
I did. It was most bountiful.
Excellent. Do you show him any of these, or do you just say that you have them?
I'll just start pulling out a couple just to show him that I'm not full of shit.
Yeah, perfect. And he starts having a look, looking at some of the mushrooms and mosses that you've got. Ah, brilliant, perfect. Now, part of the reason I wanted to show you, bring you here today, and to show you what I have been working on, is because I heard that you have taken up with a group of adventurers.
It is early days still, but they seem an able-bodied group.
Excellent. Well, if you do find yourself in a spot of bother, I've been working on a way to... what's the word? Weaponize the potions and poisons that we have been developing here over the years.
My eyes just sort of light up with like a boyish little charm, like reminding me of the days on the streets watching the Magic Men.
Yes.
Weaponized potions, you say? Go on.
Well, as you are acutely aware, there's only so... if you're not exactly the stealthiest of characters, it's not exactly easy to slip a poison or potion into a man's food or drink.
It does require more preparation than you can get from a battlefield, unfortunately.
Indeed. So, I've been working on a way to make potions that can be either thrown by your own strength or thrown from a sling, perchance, or even loaded into a catapult if that was available to you and thrown a great distance. That will shatter upon impact and then cause whatever effect it may be on multiple people or an individual that it comes into contact with, rather than being a potion that has to be ingested. It is one that is ingested through the skin, as it were.
feel like my pulse just quickens.
Excellent.
I just like start getting short of breath and I just lean in.
So,
Does this mean you can throw it or
indeed,
use it from a distance?
indeed, yes. If
Tell
you,
me more.
if you can throw a rock, you can throw one of these things. And he reaches behind him and pulls out a small glass vial. It is roughly triangular in shape. The glass looks to be quite thin compared to your normal vials that you would use for making or storing potions. And he says, "This is a prototype, at the very least, that I would like to test. And I feel that with you being spending more and more time out in the field, that you would be the perfect candidate to go and test these."
I could not agree with you more.
So I have 3 different ones here, and he brings them all out, brings all of them out. So the one that he showed you initially is in a triangular, sort of pyramidal shaped flask, and it is a bright green in color and quite thin, like it's sloshing around quite readily.
Nice.
And he puts this one down in front of you and says, "This is a potion of blindness." And then he brings forth another one. This one is in a more traditional looking earthenware flask. Circular. Or sorry, spherical, I should say. And you can hear that it doesn't make much noise when it's shook, so you assume that it is quite a viscous...
Viscous. Oh yes, good word.
Quite a viscous
It's one of my
contents inside.
favorites.
It is a good one.
A good fucking word.
Viscous and glottal. Oh hell yeah.
Oh.
And it says, "This here is a potion of weakening." And the final one he brings forth is in a similar shape to this one. It's spherical, but it is again of this sort of thin glass. And this one is a dark, almost midnight blue.
What color is the weakening one, sorry?
You can't tell because it's in a clay earthenware flask.
Flask, okay, and then spherical, but that's also spherical.
Yes, so there's 2 spherical ones. One is sort of clay, and therefore you can't see through it. The other one is this same sort of thin glass that the pyramidal one is. This one you can see, and it's a sort of a midnight blue. Very similar colour to his robes.
What does this one do?
This is a potion of deafness.
Oh,
What I shall do for you, my good sir, is I shall now link you this. So I spent the past couple of days homebrewing some rules for these throwing potions for you.
I love your work. Something came up. Where is it?
There we go. So it should appear in your journal. It's all caps. Homebrew rules, thrown potions.
Yes.
So, essentially, to throw one of these, it's basically the same as throwing a rock. So, as long as you have the ranged throwing skill, you can throw a rock. It's not a problem. This is the same idea. So there is a weapons trait in the ranged weapons for a rock to be thrown. I think it's like strength bonus plus 1 damage when it hits. Something like that. And it's got a range of strength bonus times 3 in feet. So if you fluff it, it can go very short.
Okay, so distance of strength bonus times 3 feet.
Yep.
So it's more like an underarm lob than like a long distance yeet.
Yes. If it misses the target, it will continue the maximum distance and will shatter on impact, whether that is on the ground or on someone else. And that is friend or foe. It doesn't specify. And everything and everyone within a 3-foot radius of the impact site is affected by the potion. The main one that I want to sort of draw attention to is the last one, is that only Eben is able to make these at the moment.
Yep.
And they are not cheap. They are 2 gold coins a piece to manufacture.
Yep.
Should you provide him with components for these potions, he can reduce them by 2 shillings per component required, but he hasn't told you what components are in them as of yet, and you will need to probably report back your findings before he will tell you what components are required to help reduce the cost of them.
Yeah.
As for the potions themselves, as I think I've got written there, like they'll last a D10 rounds. So when you throw it, we'll roll, see how many rounds it'll last for.
On like a map, so maximum I can throw this is 9 feet. How big would that be on a map? I say, like how many squares roughly? Each square is 5 foot, right?
Yeah. So essentially, 9 feet is going to get it basically 2 squares
Actually,
away
2
from you.
squares. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it'll affect pretty much everything within that square. So yeah, it's not got to do a huge amount, but like, you know, if you're relatively close, you can run in, lob a thing, run away.
Yeah, no, it's good. I was just double checking. Like, I just wasn't sure of feet to square ratio, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
That's cool. It seems a little bit OP if I can just fucking yeet it
Yeah.
across the map.
Yeah, that would be a bit ridiculous. I figure, you know, you're a human. You're not like an elf or, you know, a demon or something who can just like has superhuman strength. So you can throw it a short distance, and that is fine.
Can I re-roll my character to Babe Ruth real quick?
No. But yeah, the potions themselves, I feel like they're all fairly self-explanatory. The potion of blindness, the target gains the blinded condition.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it.
Potion of deafness, they gain a deafened condition. Potion of weakening, they gain the stunned condition. So with that one, I've figured that you could treat it, or it should be treated very much like the stunned condition, that you still have to roll an endurance test at the end of the round to remove the stunned condition.
Yep.
But if they successfully remove the stunned condition, they gain a fatigue condition.
That's so good.
So,
Oh my god.
yeah. And so, yeah, Eben hands you these 3 and details what each of them does, and then he says, "So, my friend, if you can test these out for me and let me know how they work, I would be indebted to you."
I could not be more. This is possibly the greatest mission of my short life so far. Do you have a particular target in mind, or would one of the rookies do?
He sort of shakes his head and says, "I think you misunderstand, my good sir. I wouldn't want these used on the other apothecaries here, no." As I understand it, you have been venturing out into the wilderness. Surely there be some sort of circumstance where you will need to defend yourself. This will be a perfect opportunity to try these out.
Would indeed. How flimsy are these to travel? Is it best to get like a special pouch made up, or would they survive maybe a day-to-day trip of walking around? Like, am I not going to find myself suddenly blind, weak, and deaf if I stop too quickly?
The glass vials are quite fragile, so I would treat them with care. If they are stored wrapped in cloth, in a bag, or in a pouch, that should be fine. The clay one is a little bit hardier. That one can suffer a few bumps, and should be of no consequence to it.
Thank you very much. Remind me, Evidence. Whilst I've been in this town a while, I'm not overly familiar. Would there be a tanner or a leather worker nearby where we are currently?
Let's see. I actually think there is one in Ostwald. Let me quickly check for you. There is one in the Newmarket district. Greendale's Leathers.
Greendale's Leathers. Do we have a... I know this is possibly pushing the friendship, but do we have a working relationship with any of these trades in the city? Might help us with a special rate per se.
We have a good working relationship with the glaziers guild, obviously for making our potion vials and flasks and such.
Ah, wonderful. What was the name of that leatherworker again, sir?
Greendale's Leather Goods.
This is most helpful and most exciting.
And so you and he get to chatting about potions and whatnot, and we will star wipe. Star wipe. Gotta love a good star wipe. And we will find ourselves with Alrik. Now, Alrik has spent the better part of this week drinking, for one, but also sort of a bit lost. There's no definitive guild for bounty hunters in the city, you've been informed.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of just have to find work where work's available. And you were down in the pit fighter's head having a drink with Alexander Alexandrovich Yablinski. And he happened to mention that there's 2 places where you might be able to find sort of bounty notices pinned up. There's one, there's a notice board in Pity Square in Sudgarten. And there is another pinned up outside the Worshipful Guild of Legalists in Altmarkt.
Worshippers Guild of Legalists.
Worshipful Guild of Legalists, yes.
Worshipful. The Worshipful Guild of Legalists. God. Okay. So, what do I know much about either of those kind of areas? Like, if one, like where I would be going, right? Like the suburb or whatever.
Yep.
Is one of them more upper class than the other one, or is it more of like a marketplace area, or is it just like they're both shit? Just go take a look.
Roll for me, please, a gossip test to see how much you have learned in the past 4 or 5 days that you've been in the town. Or in the city, I should say. We'll make it average.
Okay. Let's turn my advantage off. So that one. Oh boy. Average. Here we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about to be expected.
Okay. Altmark you know to be fairly lower class. Sudgarten you don't know much about. Only that it is south.
And Pity Square is in Stuttgart.
Correct.
Okay. Let's go for the one near the Worshipful Guild of Legalists first.
Excellent. So you head to the Worshipful Guild of Legalists. It is a big 3-story building. Where are we? Altmarkt. It is 31. There. This one here.
Nice.
So it's a big 3-story building. It's made out of stone. It is decorated with elaborately carved reliefs depicting various graphs in history being receiving blessings from Alrik and Verena. You fortunately have come at a good time because they only have very short opening hours between the hours of 10 and 4. However, you don't need to go in, so you're alright. So, as you approach the building, you see that off to the side, just next to the entrance, there is a sort of a public notice board. And if we do this, I really hope this works. It only worked here.
Oh, look at this.
Hang on, I have to do it here so that everyone on the technical stream can see this too. I didn't do anything. Hold up, I gotta do this, I think. Go.
Oh.
No. Oh god, nothing's happened.
This is it. This is the end of the game.
This is it. Have I broken everything?
There's no way of knowing.
Hold up. So I do that. You're back there. If I do that. Nothing happens. Wonderful. Hang on. Send you back here. Did that actually do anything?
I mean, I'm back at midnight, so...
Cool. So if I do this now.
Now we're on a wanted board.
Cool. It's not showing up on the stream though, which is annoying. I don't know why that's not worked. Alright.
But Midden Ball!
Let's do this then. Let's just do this. And then a bit of a...
You know what's good? Seeing a wanted board that doesn't have my face on it.
Hey!
Also, everything's written down with words.
Can't read them.
Can't read
Like,
them.
I can read probably 3 words on these wanted posters. Oh no, 4. 4 words, I reckon.
Yep.
Wanted, missing,
The man.
and money.
Yep. It's more or less it. Or crimes, maybe. Festdag! Oh shit! Bro, it's Christmas time!
No.
Oh.
Festdag is a day of the week.
Is it?
Yes.
It's like Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, it's just Sunday. Oh.
Yeah. It is the holiday day, but there's not necessarily a holiday on every holiday day. But it's essentially a day off from work.
Yeah, it's the last day of the Imperial calendar's 8-day week.
Yeah.
God damn.
Are there any of those that catch your eye?
Which ones can I actually read?
Well,
Because
that is a great question because you can't read it all, can you?
I think I started learning how to read, but then very promptly was like, ugh, and then gave it up. But
You definitely know the
Still-
words wanted.
Yeah.
You certainly know the words missing. And you recognize a few other words that you could probably like sound out, like there's
Ractron.
there's one that says justice that you recognize. You recognize the word
I recognize the symbol of the Tinian Society.
yep, you would recognize that because
Okay.
you've seen healers before, so you know what that's all about.
Yeah.
So any of them catch your eye that you would like to see up close?
That bottom left one.
Bottom
is
left
interesting
one.
to me.
This one
There's
here?
a face. Yes, this one here.
Cool. Alright.
Got a seal on it.
Yeah, it's got a seal.
Important.
So if I
Yeah.
do this, and then I go like...
Do I know what
Oh,
the... Well, not to...
yeah, this is why I
burden
didn't
the
want to do this.
technicality.
Hang
I
on.
was thinking, what I know what that seal is the first question.
You would not recognize the seal.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Two shakes. Let me just get this functioning again. Everything was going so smoothly until I decided to change what screen you're on.
Now there's
And
vomit on the notice
Now
board.
there's vomit on the notice board. Everything has gone horribly. Right. It is that one. And you want to see it. So I will make it visible to Nicholas B. Done. It should now appear in your journal.
Yay. Number 3. There we go. A wanted poster. I can't read it.
Excellent.
It's just like the game.
It is. You can't read it.
Yeah, I can't read it. Can I? Is there anyone nearby that I can be like, "Oi, who's this from?"
Well, as I said, the Worshipful Guild of Legalists is open. You could take it down and head on inside and ask someone.
True. Actually, can I take 2 of them?
You may.
Is that poor form?
No, you can do what you like.
Okay.
What else do you want to take?
The one. So, I know what that big lion boy is from somewhere, and that's me. So would I recognize on this and this, those
Mhm.
two things? Would I
Uh,
recognize what that lion is, or the wolfy boy is?
Yeah, you've seen it around a bit. It's the symbol of the Ulrican faith. It's a wolf.
Ah, okay.
Very
I'm
much
gonna-
like when you were in Ubersreich, you saw lots of like twin-tailed comets and hammers. This is
Yep.
essentially the equivalent.
All right. Bit God-fearing for me, and I'm gonna take that missing one.
Perfect. All right, I will grab that one as well, and
And I would like to enter into the Guild of Legalists.
I'll make that visible to you too. There we go. So that is now also visible to you.
Nice. I'm gonna walk in there and be like, "Hey, who's this from? Who I have to go talk to?"
The receptionist there sort of looks up at you and sort of shakes their head and says, "I can send a scribe out for you if you like."
Great, Lassie, I just need you to tell me who I need to contact about, alright? That's all I need.
So she looks at the wanted poster and says, "Oh, this gentleman. Yes, he was caught about a month ago. Those posters should have been taken down weeks ago."
Oh, what, Lassie? Well, why are they still out there then? And I'll scrunch up that poster and, like, throw it on the ground.
"There's no littering, thank you."
There's no litter, and I'll pick it back up. Alright, what about the other one?
Let's read here. And so she takes the poster and it says here, "Missing one Gerhard Ulrichsen, last seen in the area surrounding Alberwitz in the March of Linz.
Right, that was recent. Alright.
Please contact Brunhild Ulrichsen in Suttgarten with any information."
Huh. Any idea where he might be, lass?
Well, it says here that he was last seen in the area surrounding Alberwitz in the March of Linz. That is out towards up north, towards the border with Nordland.
Not talking about the lad himself, talking about the contact, lassie. And I point at the entirely wrong part of the poster.
Yes.
Be like, I'm talking about the guy you gotta talk to in Suttgarten. This bit right here.
Brunhild, I believe, is his wife.
Ah, of course, lassie. Alright. Any idea where she is?
Well, it says here Suttgarten. Doesn't give any further information. You might have to try some of the locals, see if they know her.
Alright, lass. Well, thank you for your time. And I'll tick off a, tick off? I will flick, like with my thumb, I'll just flicker a silver, shilling.
She will allow it to land on the counter and then very slowly reach up her finger and sort of drag it towards her.
I'll just, like, give her a wink and just, like, grab the piece of paper, the wanted poster that I threw on the ground, be like, "Hey, alright, thank you very much, lassie." Head on out and start asking questions.
Alright, so we will do this. We will go and we'll go back to here.
See, this is the part of bounty hunting that no one ever shows you.
It
That you gotta... Oh! I just somehow managed to pop out my sidebar.
interesting. There we go. Alright.
What is that?
You can do that?
Yeah, you just double click the icon.
Oh.
Ah, doesn't work for the others, I don't think, but
Just pops out the one.
yeah. Oh, and the jukebox. Ah,
That's
So
connected to the
you head in the direction of Suttgarten. I guess you probably need to start questioning some of the locals to try and find out where this Brunhild is and try and get some information from her.
it's time I got back into work, laddie, and I put away my flask. Which apparently I had with me while questioning the... Anyway, yes. So, while I'm in Suttgarten, I'm going to look for... Because this guy in the picture has a shield. So, is that accurate in any way?
No,
Like, okay. So,
it's also not a shield.
what if-
It is a
Oh, it's a bag.
it is a rush weaved basket that he's carrying over his shoulder.
I see. So I could probably presume he's not of the highest stature.
No.
So I'm going to ask some people who don't look of the highest stature.
Well, you've come to the right district. Stuttgart
Yep.
is fairly low to low middle class.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to just ask around. Just whoever I see, I'm just going to, like, have them look at the poster. Just be like, hey, can you tell me where to find... What's her name? Brunhilde?
Brunhild.
Brunhilde.
Yep.
Brunhild.
All right. Well, in that case, roll for me, please, some gossip tests. We'll do just the one initially. It's going to be challenging to start off with.
Oh boy, this promises to be a sad time for old Alrik. Alright, gossip challenge. Yoink, yoink.
Okay.
Nailed it.
So you ask a few questions of people. That most of them go, "Don't know what you're on about, lad." But you get one or two who are sort of like, "Oh, aye, Brunhild. I think she's lives down that there street over there." And so you start heading off in the direction. You start asking a few more people. I'll allow you to make another gossip test. This time average.
Okay. Oh!
Nice.
Last.
So you find someone who says, "Oh, aye, Brunhild. Yeah, she's my neighbour. Come with me."
Oh, lovely.
And, they lead you over to a relatively rundown house off on a side street and says, "Hey, it's that one there," and then nods their head to you and continues on their way.
Thank you much, little laddie. I'm gonna flick him a shilling again.
Throwing coins away.
Well, look, we're gonna make some serious dosh off this lady. So
Yes,
you gotta
poorer
spend money to
districts,
make money.
in some of the poorer parts of town. Sure, makes sense.
Indeed.
So you knock on the door, I assume,
Hell yeah.
and
I'll just go walk up there and just be like, "Hello, Brunhilde, in there."
after a moment, the door opens and you're greeted by Brunhild. She's in a, I don't know, late 30s, early 40s maybe. Very much your standard city worker type vibe. Not too well off, but well enough that they own a not hovel, basically. Like it's not completely run down. It's just not the greatest.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, aye, yes, I'm Brunhild. What brings you here?" And she notices the missing poster in your hand. She says, "Oh, you haven't found news about my Gerhard, have you?"
Afraid not, lassie. We come to inquire about the circumstances upon which he may have disappeared, lassie.
"Oh, aye. Oh, you'd best come in then."
Oh. I was about to say take off my hat. I don't really wear a hat.
You don't
I
really
don't
wear
have
a
anything on my
hat.
head anymore.
No. You probably should.
just
You don't want
kind
to
of-
get sunburn.
Look, I know what I'm about, okay?
You are on top
Prove
of a
my worth
mountain,
somehow.
closer to the sun.
Exactly. I'm like the trees that live below the canopy, alright? I don't deal with the sun.
Sure. So she leads you in and leads you into their sort of sitting room, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "I'd offer you a tea, but I haven't got any. So, water?"
I suppose so, lass. If you can spare it.
"I'm sure I can. If you can find my husband, I certainly think I can spare you a glass of water." And so she fetches you a earthenware mug of water and
See.
sits down opposite you and says, "Aye, so what is it that you want to know?"
Well, tell me everything you know about how he disappeared.
"Well, he went off to work. He's a woodsman, you see, my husband. So he goes out into the forest with like-minded fellows to bring wood back to the city.
Okay.
And he went out probably about, about 3 weeks back now. And they were out north, up in the March of Linz area. And the rest of his party came back, as they do at the end of the week. And however, Gerhard, he didn't come back with the others, and they were strangely reluctant to tell me what had gone on. Despite my pressing, they didn't really tell me what had happened to him.
Oh.
All they said is that they'd lost him along the way.
They lost him.
Aye.
He's a fucking human being, lassie. I mean, you don't just lose a person, do you?
Well, the Drackwild Forest is pretty hairy. I wouldn't be surprised if they did lose him.
Let's see. Well, I haven't got much experience with the Drackwild Forest, but I tell you what, you don't just lose someone, alright? You have to stick with your people and you gotta have them close to you all times. I'm just gonna swear a little incasually because it angers me.
Yeah.
Could you point me in the direction of these friends of his who left him behind?
Oh yeah, not a problem. They're I've changed their accent. That's awkward.
We got music now.
Yes.
Sorry, I was away for a bit.
They're you can find them out just down in the Warrenberg. They're got a lumber yard there that the lads all sort of contribute to. If you head down to the very edge of the Warrenberg, you'll be able to find them.
Alright. Thank you kindly, ma'am. I'll get to it. Oh, by the way, were I to find him, what kind of reward would be in it for old Alrik here?
Well, you certainly have my thanks and Ulrich's praises. That's for one. But the other thing I've scurried away a little bit of coin over the past year or so. I had been planning on doing some work to the house, but with Gerhard gone, I feel like it's best that it goes towards some sort of recompense. I can offer you. It's about 4 gold crowns.
I'm gonna crunch some numbers in my head real fast. Just be like, oh, he's probably just lost. Alright. That does mean I have to go. Alright. 4 gold crowns it'll be then, lassie. Tell you what, if I can find them soon, it'll be worth my time. Alright. I'll be off then.
Thank you kindly, Master Dwarf. Thank you kindly indeed.
Right, I think nothing of it till I find him, and then I'm gonna head down to meet with the lads.
Cool.
If I can find him.
Alright, we will start white. And let's close that. We find ourselves with not Jehenna, with Heike. It's been exactly 1 week since you met with Jana Eberhauer at the Grand Guild of Wizards, and you have met the city patrol outside the gates of the Grand Guild of Wizards quite early in the morning. It's just as dawn is rising. The sergeant there sort of has nodded to you and has said, "Are you the new wizard who's here to go on patrol with us?"
Could be me.
Aye. I've just got to wait. We're supposed to be taking another guild-approved wizard along with us, so hold off a moment.
No worries.
And they
not a
sort of
worry.
ignore you after that.
I just lean against the wall.
Yeah. After a couple of minutes, Jana herself comes out. And she says, "Oh, Heike, delightful, you are here.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you.
Well, I took it upon myself. It's not very often that we get new wizards joining the guild, and so I thought I would take it upon myself to show you around personally, show you what we expect of wizards in the guild."
You honour me.
Right, Sergeant, shall we be away? And the Sergeant sort of nods. All right, come on, men, let's be off. And so you head in the direction of the north gate, this one here. And, you know, some inane chatter between the sergeant and Jana, yourself, all that sort of stuff. And you get to the gate. You climb up through the gatehouse and get up onto the very top of the ramparts above the gate. And Jana says, "Right, so all of the gatehouses and walls and the concourses themselves are imbued with magic, so as in the case of an emergency, we can destroy the concourses and prevent any entry or exit from the city. And the walls themselves are also magically imbued to resist siege weaponry.
Excellent.
And so she starts casting a spell. Can you roll for me, please, a hard perception test?
It's not my greatest ability. I don't know if I have a very small window. And I get the opposite.
Wonderful. So you're straining to try and
high up!
yeah, you're straining to try and see the magic that she is casting here, but all you can hear is the wild roar of Gurish magic. It's just overpowering. And she casts a sort of a side eye and says, "Still finding it difficult seeing past the winds of Gur?"
It is overwhelming, yes.
Yes, the eternal flame will do that.
You must understand, I have spent most of my recent time in Uberstrike, and getting any wind there is difficult.
Indeed. This place is certainly miraculous in that regard. Do you know much about the wellspring?
I would assume I wouldn't. So,
Yeah.
no, I did not come across it in my studies. Or if I did, I wasn't paying attention that day.
You probably would have heard part of the tale of the eternal flame in regards to the
Like folk stories and stuff like that, but
yeah,
not
and
actual
like
details.
Sigmarite theology.
Yeah.
Part of the crowning of Sigmar as the leader of the Teutogan clans was his passing through the eternal flame unscathed, and therefore proving that he was worthy of Ulric's judgment. The eternal flame itself is a magical flame made entirely of the wind of amber. It's
Impressive.
it is rather, if you ever get the chance to see it. Although the Ulricans keep it cloistered for only the faithful to view it. But as I believe it is the pillar of their faith, and the way that Ulric reaches out into the mortal world. But those few wizards who have had the opportunity to study the Eternal Flame find it to be a most peculiar thing. The fact that this natural occurrence of Gurish magic that manifests itself physically as a fire, essentially. It is truly miraculous, but it does mean for other magic users that it is a lot harder to sense the other winds whilst in the city.
What's the flame wind called? It starts with an A, right?
The Akshi.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll say to her, I'm surprised that Gur produces flame and not Akshi.
Well,
is
it's
strange.
it is strange. It is a strange quirk of nature, I guess. But by all accounts, we there must be a natural cause to it. But as I mentioned, the Ulricans don't tend to let dusty wizards and scholars in to view the flame, or delve into the depths of the Undercity to determine if there is a more prosaic nature to it. They believe it to be a divine
Yes, having
symbol.
an inquisitive mind generally excludes one from the clergy.
Indeed. It takes time. You'll get used to it with more practice. And so she shows, well, after this sort of conversation, she starts showing you the different wards that are placed on the walls and out on the causeway there. And with time, you can start to see the magical residue of the various different winds of magic that have been had these wards imbued into it. You notice there are some Ulgu wards there, some sort of shadows that don't seem to shift depending on where the light is. You spot all the different colleges of magic all the different winds of magic have a presence here in the wards, in various different degrees.
Yeah, they've used them in the magic for the shield and stuff. They've used all the different winds, different deals and stuff along the walls.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as you sort of make your way around the top of the walls towards the next gate over here, the west gate, Jehenna sort of continues and just says, well, it's imperative that we check on these wards once every 3 weeks, every 3-4 weeks, just to ensure that they are secure and that the city of Middenheim is protected from external threat.
And I noticed you casting a spell earlier. Is this necessary to test the wards, or is it in strengthening them?
The spell that I cast was specifically just to test the strength of the celestial wards. Each of the various different winds of magic will have their own spell that is to test the strength of the wards related to your magic. Once we've finished here, I can put you in contact with the leading grey wizard who can teach you the spell for the wards.
Excellent. I would like to be of service.
Wonderful. And you continue on, and there's some more inane chatter. And as you get to the southern gate, down here, you hear down below you at the gate that there's some sort of clamour as a group of what appear to be Shalian priests, accompanied by a small detachment of soldiers, heading out through the gate and are sort of causing the traffic to move to either side to allow them to pass.
And what was that religion again?
Shalian.
And that is, I don't, as me?
She is the goddess of healing. Yeah, Shalia is the goddess of healing.
Oh yeah.
And Jehenna shakes her head and says, "Oh, it's a real shame, concern what's happening in the towns up north."
I'm sorry, as I've only just recently arrived. I have not heard.
Yes, there appears to be some sort of disease running rampant through some of the towns up in the March of Linz. I believe they've turned the town of Alberwitz into a sort of triage centre to cure, to remedy as best they can the sick and injured there.
Is it of a proportion that we need to be concerned?
Well, we did have a priest of Shalia approach the guild, asking if there are any willing wizards who would head out to Alberwitz to sort of see what is going on, see if there is a magical nature to this disease. They can't seem to find a way to help alleviate the symptoms.
First the purple one, now the green one. I hope not.
Well, one certainly hopes not. Anyway, we shall continue our rounds. And you continue round until you make your way back to the north gate. At which point, you return to the guild, and says, "Well, I think that everything is in order. I think we can induct you in as a fully paid up member of the guild. Welcome.
Excellent. And I would like to get in contact with the leading Grey Wizard as soon as possible.
Of course. Of course, definitely. And,
did I pay
You
fee
did,
to get
yeah.
in last? Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
you did, yeah. Cool. And that is where we're going to leave it for today, guys. We've finished
Nice.
everyone's little sort of getting to grips with the city. Sort of working out where, the few people that you each need to know and what you all are able to do as income endeavours. The next time we have a proper downtime session.
Excuse me.
So will mine be doing the rounds, basically?
Essentially, yeah.
My paid. Yeah, cool.
The guild may have other paid jobs for you to do,
of
but
course.
for the most part, it is checking.
That's my downtime activity kind
Yeah.
of thing. Whereas we might get quests like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool.
Ooh.
I know it's a bit of
Yeah,
a short
that was
one,
fun.
but
Oh, I like the episodic nature of it.
yeah, I thought it would be a bit fun, and also like considering that it is a new city, and
Yeah, we need to
You-
set up our network.
yeah, like you need to know who you need to know and where things are and all that sort of stuff. So I figured a nice, simple, relatively short episodic episode where you all just sort of learned the city a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
It's
Yeah,
good.
that's cool.
Cool.
Nice.
Alrighty.
So
Plus,
I also did want to ask if I could stay at the college
yes.
Well, temporarily, at least.
Yeah. Jana would have had a room arranged for you to stay there. So, yeah. That's that.
Very cool.
Right.
Incredibly cash money.
One question: can I say I completed my short term?
What was your short term again?
Find a base of operations in Middenheim and find employment.
Oh, I would constitute that as that, certainly.
I don't think I'm anywhere closer to my ambition.
That's my short term, not my long term. I might have to change that one because it's proved my worth to Christoph upon his return, but I ain't even in that city no more.
Correct, kid.
I'm gonna rejig my short term and long term now that I've been given some more specific things.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that would probably make sense. You're in a new town.
Yeah.
You didn't really know what was going on just yet, so
Yeah.
now that you've had the chance to establish yourselves,
Will you add that to me, or do I need to add it?
if you want to add it, you're more than welcome to. Or I can do it. It's up to you. I'm not fussed either way.
It's just 50, isn't it?
Yes.
I'll just add it to the one I did from
Cool.
like the beginning.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw in the session notes from last session, you all gained 100 XP from the last session as well. So you've got
Right.
you've got 100 XP. Steve, you've got 150 XP because you've completed a short-term goal.
So I put that just under adventuring.
Yep.
Wait, have
Not
you
I-
already
I
added it?
I
Or-
don't actually have that in.
I haven't added it
Oh,
to
there
your
it- oh,
character
there it is.
sheets
Oh,
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in there. Oh, it's in there.
No, I haven't added
No,
it to your character
oh.
sheets.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
So
Further adventure.
So maybe.
So Luke,
I
that
can't
would
think
be
of a short term.
that would probably be a sensible one to spend on maybe learning how to do ranged throwing.
Sounds good to me. You just put this in experience awards, hey?
Hang on, I haven't looked at the character sheet in fucking forever.
I just go
missed
to advances and then experience awards and just add it to one of those or add a new line.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot and just hit consolidate rewards, and I'm like, oh,
Oh no.
that's okay. It still comes up the right amount. It's just,
Yeah.
oh,
Put it all to one, yeah.
So Luke, with yours, because range throwing is a non-career skill, you'd have to add it in the settings tab, so under here, and put it in as a skill down here if you want to put advances into it.
In non-career advances, hey?
Yeah.
So what's that weapon skill throwing?
It's ballistic skill. No, you wouldn't put it in. Sorry, the non-career advances here. You'd put it down here as a skill, and then put advances into it there. So
Sorry,
down.
a little bit lost.
So I'm looking at your character sheet as well, right? So under non-career advances,
Yeah.
you've got your characteristics, and then underneath that you've got skills.
Ah, right. So just do like.
You would have to
Ranged.
add a new skill in of ranged throwing, and then you could put advances into that there.
Okay. And how much is the reward point like cost for these ones?
It is. Oh Christ, I can't actually remember. It's like 5 XP.
Oh, we need that little thing back up in the.
Yeah,
main
I
screen.
can probably put it back up. It is 10 XP per advance up to 5 advances, and then past from advances 6 to 10, it is 15 XP.
Okay, so that will never actually show on my main page, eh? It's only going to be in.
Oh, it will do. So under ranged, once you've added it in, it should show up under your ranged section here.
I shall let you do the clicking because it's not there for me.
I think it's one of these annoying ones where you've got to go like. So you need to actually put some advances into it for it to show up.
2.5.
So it's the cog. There we go. Nice. So if we go back to the main page and scroll down, range throwing. There you are.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Sweet.
What is my gold or silver still? Silver 3. Damn.
Alrighty. Well, I'll transfer that. That is the stream ending. Stop waffling then.
Can't think of my next short.
There's no rush. Have a think.
What's our current party short? We have one.
It was find the most expensive job that we can, basically. I think. Which, to be fair, in this town, like, didn't we do that? Get complete the most expensive bounty we can find. I thought we did that.
Did you?
I think so. That was why we got so much
We
XP.
put a couple of doors back and stuff.
Yeah.
We did it in